Hello there. Welcome to the 5 Feminine Archetypes. I'm Rose Cole, and I'm here with Celine Remy. And Celine is a sexologist, and she's also the creator of the Irresistible Woman course. And a little bit about Celine is we just met recently, maybe a couple months ago. And I walked in to this Blessing Way for a friend who was pregnant. And I was immediately taken with her. You know when you see somebody and you just almost do like a double take. And of course she's physically very beautiful, but there was something else. There was something else different about this woman. And the party was filled with beautiful women, but I couldn't take my eyes off of this radiant, ecstatic woman. And so I kind of watched her a little bit at the party. I was kind of, trying not to stalk her, but I kind of mildly was. Should I tell them actually what happened, what I said?
Go for it.
So we were doing this exercise. We got introduced to each other, but we hadn't even really spoke. And this is kind of a little embarrassing. But we were all sharing these deep spiritual things about each other, really seeing each other. It was a game where you drew names. And when it got to Selena, we were all giving her all of these beautiful reflections. I just said, "And you're hot." Everybody's thinking it, so I'll just say it. And everybody was just quiet. You could have heard a pin drop in this room. And I went, oh, that just flew out of my mouth. And I swear, I don't usually like swing that way. I don't have like a thing for women, but this woman is just radiant. And I knew that there was something that she knew or possessed that was special. And so I wanted to find out who she was. I'm just intrigued by everything that you create and what you are birthing and what you are representing and bringing to this world. It really brings tears to my eyes. It's really beautiful because we need more women that are powerful women like this who are showing us as women how to empower ourselves, how to reclaim our sensuality and our sexuality, and how we can become the most juiced up, alive versions of ourselves. And I want to say that you embody that. You walk your talk. And so thank you.
Thank you, Rose.
Well, welcome. And here I am. I'm going to
all
smear my makeup already. We just started here. I want to welcome all of you, whether you're listening live or you're watching this recording. There was a handout that we sent out, and I'll send it out again with the replay. You can print it if you want to have it to follow along with us, but you don't really need it. It's just kind of like a reference sheet. We really invite you to be fully here now with us in this precious, precious time. So we invite you to put away all distractions. You owe it to yourself to really absorb and soak up all of this juiciness that we're going to co-create here. So I invite you to put your phone away, close the door. The whole world will be there after this. I promise you. Everything will be there waiting for you. But we get this precious little slot of time, and we're honored to have you here spending it with us. So again, Celine, welcome. We're honored to have you. And Celine was going to lead us through a little exercise for us to kind of drop into the present moment and drop into our femininity and into our bodies. Or you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I'd love to do just a little like feminine activation practice right now and invite all of us to really just, like Rose was saying, be present. We want to drop out of our heads and get into our bodies. So there's a few things I wanted to say. I love to use the word pussy. So I'm just putting it out there.
It still makes me blush a little bit. I blush and I'm like, whoa, is it getting hot in here? But I'm getting used to it.
Every time I use those words and Rose goes like, oh my God, I can't believe you're saying this. So I kind of just wanted to throw it out there. And maybe, some of you are like having some negative connotation with it. But I want you to know that I think of it with a lot of reverence and just believe it is sacred, and that when I say pussy, it comes with all that love for that place that we have between our legs. So if it doesn't work for you, shift it to another word, and we're not going to go today in depth in terms of like rewriting the entire story, but I just kind of wanted to say it out there because I don't want to offend anybody. So know that when I say pussy, it's with lots of love and reverence.
Well, when you say it with that accent, it certainly helps. I'm like, oh, that word isn't so bad after all.
Yeah. It's a word we need to reclaim. And so I just go around and do that and just share it. So more women need to just go around and do it. So say it, nobody can hear you. Pussy, 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 pussy. That's it. I'm feeling a little bit better. So in this practice, we are going to connect with our pussy. And what I'd like for us to do is just close our eyes and take a couple deep breaths. Make some sounds if you need to, just kind of really letting go of any stress from the day, whatever it took for you to be here on time, and just show up and just let all of that out through your breath. And then I'd like for you to just connect with your pussy, with your womb space, whatever you want to name it, that energy that's between your legs. And notice, maybe right now that could be some sensations as you're putting your attention into that area of your body, some warmth, some tingles, maybe it's numb, maybe it's dormant, maybe there's some negativity around it, but just stay with what is when you connect with that space with your pussy. And take a few deep breaths. And as you're breathing, imagine that your pussy has a big giant mouth and that you're just sucking in the energy from Mother Earth straight into your pussy, into your genitals. So breathing through and with your pussy right now. And then if you need to, do a little bit of a gyrating. If you're sitting, if you can stand up, but move your hips a little bit, tilt your pelvis back and forth, just kind of activate the energy. You're gonna start to feel some warmth, most likely. So keep breathing, stirring the pot right there. We're stirring the pot. And then we're gonna bring all of this yummy energy all the way up into our breasts and into our heart center. So feel this energy, this connection between your pussy and your breasts. Your breasts are really how you penetrate the world. So imagine right now there's beams of light shooting through your breasts, and we're just beaming all this juicy energy, connection to Mother Earth, divine power from between our legs and straight into our heart. And we are activated, turned on, juicy women ready to shine into the world. Oh, yes. And just breathe into this for another breath or two. And then when you feel ready, just come back into the space. Oh.
So good. So I just want to, we have just lost the sound. Oh no, I had to run to get my headset. Oh, she just had to get her. Oh, she had to get her headset. Can you guys let me know? Can you guys hear us right now? Do the thumbs up again if you guys can hear us. Okay, good. Okay, good.
All right.
Wonderful. I'm going to put your hands down. So, by the way, at any point, if you want to speak to us, we love to have a conversation, have a two-way dialogue. So please type in any comments down below. So right now, type in some comments. How did that feel to you? What did that awaken in your body? Did that bring stuff up? Did it trigger you? All is welcome here. So I'm curious, what was your experience there? And at any point, if something is, you have a question or if it's not resonating with you, if you're like, ooh, this really kind of annoys me, it's beautiful. There's information in every sense and every emotion and everything that we're experiencing. So to the right, there's a little chat box. I don't know if you guys can see that, but if you guys can type in there, Nikki says that she feels so alive, exclamation point, yay.
That felt great.
Ayana says, that felt great, wonderful, beautiful. Well, that felt amazing for me. I feel so alive, woo, I could see some color came into my cheeks right now. Oh, here we go. Stephanie said, at first I was trying not to laugh, and then I let myself giggle and get it out. And after that, I was having so much fun. I felt like a goddess. Woo! Wonderful, Stephanie. Carly, awesome. She's felt a bit underappreciated. Excuse me. Yeah, I can relate to that. What a beautiful awareness, right? Beautiful. Thank you guys so much for writing in. all your writing in your comments. Well, we have a lot of juicy material to share with you today. And there is a giveaway as promised in the email. Celine is going to be giving away, actually, I'm not even going to, should I tell them what it is or make it a surprise?
No, make them wait until the end.
Okay. Well, and how much is the value? Like how much you charge per session? 300?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a $300 value.
Mm-hmm.
And believe me, you want this. I know you don't know what it is yet, but you want it, and it's good. So you want to stay all the way to the end, and then we're going to pick somebody here. We're going to draw a name, and you're going to win this mystery bonus surprise. Okay? So I'm going to be turning the floor over now to Celine. You're going to get to hear more of that really beautiful, sweet, sexy accent of hers. So I guess take it away. We're talking about the 5 feminine archetypes. What do you take us on a journey? And I'll interject here and there too.
All right, awesome. So just because of the accent, I'll let you know right away. So I am from Switzerland, in case you were wondering, and I speak French. That's my native tongue. So now it's out of the way. You don't have to wonder and be like, where's she from? You know, so just be fully present with us. Today, I'm going to share something with you that's really dear to my heart. And this is what I call the 5 feminine archetypes. And it's really the foundation of my 8-week course, The Irresistible Women. And the reason I decided to share this with you is because the 5 feminine archetypes is really a blueprint to activate your feminine power. It helps you to redefine, you know, who you are in the world as a woman and really live authentically. And I know that right now we all want that. We want to come home. We all want to be more fully expressed. We all want to be more of who we truly are. We're done like pretending. And so that's really why I created these archetypes. And it came to me through, you know, lots of years of research and inquiries and exploration. And it's very interesting. As a matter of fact, a few years ago, I was journaling and developing this program, and I totally forgot about it. And then the program got created, and I somehow found that notebook. And when I opened it and I started reading my notes, I realized that 3 years ago, I had started seeding the Irresistible Women and the 5 feminine archetypes. And that was deeply ingrained inside of me, but I somehow had forgotten all about them. So it felt quite magical that it had been brewing for so long within me. And so now I get to share it with all of you, and that's really juicy. The other reason why I put these 5 feminine archetypes is because in the world, we have such a narrow definition of the feminine.
So true.
It really is. And we also have like negative perception of the feminine that are passed down through generations. And I see that a lot. I mean, for me, that was even very present. You know, my parents, okay, so there's my dad, and he's got siblings. The firstborn was a girl. When she was born, his father was very disappointed that she was a girl. Luckily, they ended up having 2 more boys after that, so that made it up. But that's kind of the energetic that came into that family from my dad's side, like, oh, it's a girl. It's not as good as a boy.
Like a burden.
It's a burden. Yeah,
wow.
It was not appreciated. And it's very interesting because I have a brother, and when we grew up, when we were receiving presents from my grandparents, he would always get more than me. Where it was money, he would get more money. He would get bigger gifts. I would get like some of the freebies you get when you order a book or something like that. I was like, really? And so that's kind of the energy. And I mean, I'm sharing that story because I'm saying this is what came down through that side of the family. And later on, when I was a late teenager and early in my 20s, I remember like I was apprenticing as an esthetician. So I was all about beauty and self-care. And my dad wasn't like valuing this. So if I would take the time, let's say, to do my hair or talk about like, hey, I want to put a little makeup or this color on my skin, and there was a lot about like, but why would you waste your time? And my mom used to say, oh, I'm simple. Yeah, I'll just do a little mascara and that's it. And I'm simple. So I started to value being simple, and that, you know, having needs or desire or liking beauty and just like spreading that energy wasn't really valued. And so it was an unlearning that I had to go through really on my end. And that's why I'm just sharing this story, because I know a lot of you have something that are similar, or like that either your parents have shut down the part of you that were feminine, or that it was underappreciated. And we all want to be seen. We all want to be loved, especially as the feminine. Yeah. So let's just take that in. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much, even just in the collective consciousness that I think about, you know, in our religion, whatever religion you were raised in, it's in our family lines. There's so much that we've unconsciously taken on as women. And here we are, unlearning and unpacking and unraveling it. And
so the first place I want to get into is clarifying some terms. We're not talking about feminine and masculine. I'm talking about an energy. This is not gender specific. This is really important, okay? That means you can be identified as a female, then you have feminine and masculine energy. You can identify as a male and have also feminine and masculine energy. All right, so I want to get that out of the way. Everything in the universe has its opposite. The day and night, up and down, the sun, the moon. So this is really what I'm talking about when I'm talking feminine energy. It's what happens is that it provides a contrast so that we can make sense of the world that we live in. There is a misconception, and I really wanted to address that. When I was preparing this talk, I was like, I need to address that. There's a misconception about having to come to oneness and having duality that's not good. And so to me, oneness means integrating both of these sides. When we are looking at ancient traditions, so I'm a big follower of the Taoist philosophies, and that's where I studied with one of the master, Mantak Chia, and they have amazing knowledge that's thousands of years old, okay? If you look at Taoist symbol, everybody is very familiar of the yin and yang, right? So that's yin and yang. What do you have? You have the feminine and masculine, and within each one, there is a little part of, within the masculine, there is the feminine, and within the masculine, there is the feminine.
This is the white and black symbol where it looks like a circle with two swirls inside, and then there's the two dots. So it's called the yin yang, and it represents the masculine and the feminine. And I like that you just pointed out, it could almost be missed. That little dot in each of the other side is representing having a little bit of the masculine and the feminine, and a little bit of the feminine and the masculine. I didn't even have that click for me until right now.
So what that means is that it's all about interconnectedness, interdependence, and that one cannot exist without the other, and that they're not separate. And this is really huge, okay? Because I really think that we need duality, because these are different poles. Imagine a magnet, okay? And this is like, there's the attraction, there's the polarity. And so we need that energy between two people in order to have the spark. Yeah.
So true.
I know. So I want to like dive in a little bit deeper in terms of the feminine right now. For most, their definition of the feminine is it means flowy, bubbly, and that she has to be receptive. And that's kind of like the one idea that we have for the feminine. I mean, what about you, Rose? When you think feminine, what are your attributes? What do you think
it's changed a lot over time, but when I used to think of the feminine, I thought of makeup and hair and dresses and pretty things. And if I saw someone that didn't wear makeup or wore very plain clothes or, void colors, I would think they were more masculine. And at a point, that was as far as the masculine and the feminine. I mean, it was like, oh, the masculine is more plain and it's more about the doing, and the feminine is more about the receiving. And if you're feminine, then you wear makeup and you look pretty and you wear dresses and stuff. And I thought that, oh, if you don't dress like that, then you're cut off from your femininity. I mean, now I've come a long way since then and really broadened my perspective around it, especially now that I've become a mom. And so I'll share, I think, a little bit more as you talk about each of the individual types. But I love what you said about that each of us has the masculine and feminine within us. So it's not about having judgment or one isn't right or wrong. It's we both have them within ourselves and integrating the two.
We do. If you reject, let's say, the masculine within you, most likely you're not going to have fulfilling relationship with the masculine in your life. So the men in your life are also a reflection of your very own relationship within yourself, with your own masculine. So remember that, because we see mirrors all the time. So I love the definition that Rose mentioned, because I think that's a definition that we all can agree on, but at the same time, it's a definition that most women can't really resonate with. And when I was working with one of my clients, she was really struggling because she identifies with being a really strong female and all the things we associate with the masculine. And she was like, so in order to be feminine, it means I have to give up that part of myself. And I was like, no, you actually can keep that part. This is part of being feminine. And that's also why the archetypes came in together, because I was trying to say, like, how can I explain it to her? How can I show her that who she is as a woman is actually feminine? And that's, of course, there's other things she can add to the equation, but that she doesn't have to stop being who she truly are. And so that was a very important piece, and it really helped her, because when you're constantly fighting that side of yourself that you're judging as not being feminine or that you should change, you're not in harmony within yourself. And again, that's been reflected in how you show up in the world. Yeah, we're gonna take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath. I know that this conversation can be triggering for so many of us, right? Because we're in a day and age where we're stepping into a different role. We've gone out into the workforce in the last 100 years or less, like 60 years. And so we're taking on different roles. And so it's a different world out there. We're still, I think, discovering, defining. That's why I think this work is so important, but it's triggering because it brings up a lot on a lot of different levels for most of us. And Carly said they are both necessary. So she was talking about the masculine and feminine. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Stephanie says, Celine, your laugh is contagious, isn't it? Yes, we know. The more Celine laughs, it's better for the world. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you guys for your comments. Keep them coming.
So I want to come back into that feminine. There's this author, speaker, amazing, like sexuality, philosopher, whatever you've heard of, probably. His name is David Data. So he's super well known in the field of like the polarity work, feminine and masculine. What he says is that most women at their core are feminine. About 90% of the women that walk on this earth are feminine to their core. There is a very small fraction of 10% of the women that are masculine in their essence, but it's such a small fraction that I'm pretty sure that all of you that are on this call today are probably more of the feminine essence. But I still want to put this out there, because if you are really resisting it and you're like, this is not for me, it doesn't speak to me, that's okay. It could mean that your essence is more masculine, and we embrace that as well. In my Irresistible Woman program, I do take you through a specific practice to teach you that and see which mode you operate from and how to really accept that within yourself. So know that it's okay whether you feel feminine or masculine, but most likely, even if you don't feel feminine, it is your essence. Okay, let's see a little comment here.
How are you with your family now? I often get stuck around my family. Well, that's probably bigger. We could do a whole show on that for most of us, our families and stuff.
Actually, I think I'd love to say that is that for me, what helped is that I left my country and I moved to the USA.
So if everyone could leave their country where your family is, no more problems with family. They all go away.
That's not that. What it gave me is that it gave me the opportunity to totally reinvent myself. And then once I reinvented myself and I created this new person that I knew inside that I went back home and I started teaching my parents and educating them how to treat myself, treat me. And now they do respect me. They respect the work I do. They are proud of me. And there's no more of that like little judgments that we used to come. And yeah, so it started with an inner work, and I think we can all come around. But again, if you think you're enlightened, go spend 3 days with your family, and then
I love that.
and then you'll know
So
we're gonna
So true.
yeah,
Our greatest teachers, right?
so with the feminine and masculine, I want to do one more distinction, because we always say the feminine is being and the masculine is doing, and I actually think it's not quite that. I want to redefine it because I think it's going to really make sense to you. So I want to take the example of wearing a dress. So you have this beautiful dress that you're putting on in the morning, and you're putting it on because you love how it feels on your skin. It's so soft and silky, and you just feel so radiant in it. And so this is a very feminine way to wear a dress. Now, we're putting on that same dress. You put on this amazing dress because you look so sexy in it, and you know that you're going to get the attention of every single person in the room. And that's why you're putting that on, because you know of the effect that dress will have. And that is masculine.
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge, right?
Okay. That just clicked for me on a different level. Wow.
Yeah. So it's not about what you do. It's not about being and doing and stuff like this. No, it's about how you do it. And that's, for me, the way it shows up is, let's say I'm working on the computer, making amazing programs or whatever. And the days where I'm focused and I stay connected to my body, and even though it's very technical to be on the computer, but I stay with what feels yummy for me and pleasurable. At the end, and I stay in my creative flow, I feel so energized. But if I start falling into this to-do list, I have to do this task, that task, and do it that way. And if it doesn't work, it has to be exactly the way I had thought it. I feel really drained. But what that tells me is that when I was focused on that goal, that action-oriented task, and I wasn't listening to my body, I've shifted into more of my masculine, which was not my natural state and natural essence. And that's why at the end of the day, I feel exhausted, tired, and I have nothing left to give.
Yeah, I know that one.
We all do. We all do. And I still make that mistake. I'm not like always able to like notice, because again, the world values the masculine traits so much more. We've been taught that having a to-do list is the best thing to do, and accomplishment and competing and all of these things are the ones that are totally appreciated. But shifting it so you can still get things done. But the key here is your pleasure.
Your pleasure. The P word, another P word. We're breaking up the P words.
Yeah.
And Kylie says, I moved away and love traveling too. The reinventing is beautiful. Yes. Thank you for that, Kylie.
And I'd say you don't have to move away to reinvent yourself. You know, one thing I want to talk about our relationships with women, because a lot of us, we allow other women, we compare ourselves a lot, and we're like, she's beautiful, therefore she's a threat, or she's smarter than me, so I'm not good enough, or I don't know, whatever it is, we all have that. And the way, if you watch movies, that's how we portray the feminine, that we're catty, we dislike each other, and that's how we've been operating in the world. And this is why I'm here today sharing this message, because we need to shift that.
Yeah,
big time. When I met Rose, I felt the same. I was like, she's beautiful. I didn't go into like, oh my God, she's beautiful, therefore I'm not. I just thought, wow, this is such a reflection of my own beauty. Thank you for inspiring me. And that's why I want more women around me that are powerful, that are beautiful, that are smart, anything that I appreciate, because they are showing me what is possible in the world. And instead of thinking that I must destroy them so that everybody else can see me, I'm thinking, how can I surround myself with the most powerful and amazing women so that together we create a different world and shine, and that we lift each other up rather than pull each other down.
Yeah.
And that is so crucial. And so again, being in your feminine, that means when you see your girlfriend, you go like, you look so good in this dress, you know? Like, taking a minute, let me take you in. I love how you did your hair. Like, appreciate the people you love, appreciate your woman, and start changing the paradigm about how the feminine is, and just value that, value it within your circle of friendship, because that's how we're going to shift.
Thank you for that.
So before I go into the next phase, which is the 3 stages of the feminine, because some of you might still have some objections or areas where you're like, I don't know, Celine, I want to make sure that I'd love to hear in the comments if that resonates, you know, especially that experience of like wearing the dress, like when you wear the dress for the feel of it, for the experience, that's the feminine. And when you wear a dress for the effect on the others, that's the masculine. So I want to know how that lands.
Yeah, write in the comments if that. So Kylie says, yes, totally resonates and makes sense, exclamation point. Beautiful. So keep the comments coming. When you heard that, did it resonate? Did it not? Did it click for you? Did you have any realizations? Any questions? We'd love to have those come in. Give you a moment to write. Sometimes it's like you just have to hear something just the right way, you know, and then it clicks and you're like, ah, that's what the feminine is. Yeah. But if you want a little more explanation, or if that didn't resonate.
Oh, good.
So Ashley says, totally clicked. Beautiful.
Yeah, good. Yeah. For me, yes, it's going to be the difference.
It makes total sense from Stephanie. Great. Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah.
And then competition feels like the immature feminine, girl-like. Encouraging sisters feels like mature femininity, womanhood. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's beautiful. And Nikki said, would love to hear the feminine and masculine putting on a dress example again. Could you say it one more time? You just said it briefly, but she's wanting to hear it again.
Okay. So when you are putting on this dress, you have this amazing dress in the morning and you put it on because you love how silky, soft that is, how the color makes your eyes pop, how delicious and radiant and vibrant you feel in it. It just increases your pleasure and you turn on. This is you feminine. You are totally immersed in the experience.
For yourself.
For yourself, yes.
Okay, that's I think one of the key distinctions, for yourself, because it feels good. Okay.
When you are putting on the dress from the masculine perspective, you're putting on the dress because the dress looks fucking hot. Sorry, I said the F word.
I think it's okay. I think we're past that.
We're past that. I've already said pussy, so.
Yeah. I think we're all okay with it here. Everyone's still here. We haven't scared anyone that's away yet.
Okay, so the dress is really hot, and you know that when you're going to put it on, you're going to get the attention of everyone in the room, and that's what you want. And so you're focusing more on the outcome of what that dress is going to bring you, and that's very much more masculine.
Okay, that helped. Thank you for...
And I want to do it maybe into another example. I have another one with a cup of coffee or like a tea, or like, you drink the coffee. We'll take coffee because there's caffeine and that's what I want. So you're drinking coffee and you're immersed in drinking your coffee because you love the warmth on your tongue and the smell of the coffee and how it goes down to your throat. This is very feminine. Now you're drinking the same coffee. You're drinking your coffee because you know it's going to boost you because it has tons of caffeine and you've got a shitload of things to do throughout your day. That is very masculine.
I like that example too. That's helpful. Let's see here. So Nikki says, thank you. Mary says, I think I operate more on the masculine. So that's great awareness, right? You know? And then your name, I think it says, maybe it's Laura or Laura. I've noticed a beautiful evolution of women supporting, embracing each other's beauty openly with little to no shame or competition. Nice. And so beautiful. Yes, thank you. And then Stephanie says, Celine, can you talk? You talk with your whole body. You know how people talk with their hands? It looks like you have a pleasure in speaking. I think she has a pleasure in doing everything. I haven't witnessed her doing anything not in pleasure yet. Hiking in pleasure, cooking in pleasure. It looks like you have pleasure in speaking. I'm just connecting how you can complete tasks with pleasure.
Good.
Yeah, and then we got a smiley face here, I think. And then we have another one here from Nikki says, how do we know with our relationship, how do we know what our relationship with our masculine is really like? And I know we have to still get on to the 5 archetypes too, but.
Yeah, I'm going to quickly answer that, and we're going to have more time for other questions too at the end.
That's true.
So, but I want to say, how is your relationship with the men in your life? How do you talk about men? And do you think that men are pig, they're stinky, and they're really annoying, and they have all these habits that they're misbehaving women? Then if that's what you're thinking, probably your relationship with the masculine is not that great. If you think of men and you're like so grateful for all the amazing qualities that they have and how they make your life so much better, you're probably having a better relationship with the masculine. So just look at what you think about men. How do you talk? And this is really important I'd like us to realize when we talk between women, I want us to stop making these comments, oh, you know how men are, or like, oh yeah, that's so masculine to do. If we're going to do something about the masculine, we need to appreciate that they're different and they love to fix things and they love to make our lives better. So we need to appreciate them for that rather than putting them down. So that making that conscious decision that even when you are within other women, we are shifting. So this is how we can shift the collective masculine, by just loving them more.
And then it shifts it within ourselves, because whatever we're thinking about them is actually what we're thinking about the masculine within ourselves, and vice versa for the feminine too. Wow. Beautiful. Well,
okay.
We still have our archetypes.
We do. And there's one more point before we go into the archetypes. So it's the 3 stages of the feminine that I wanted to absolutely talk about it, because some of you right now might be like resisting some of the things that I'm sharing, and it's totally fine, because you might be into a different stage of the feminine than where I'm at. So here are the 3 stages, and we all go through that. The first stage is the one that I call the docile feminine. That's when you are docile feminine. Thank you. So this is when you are a pleaser, when you push over. You know, you also you think that you absolutely need a man. You can't do anything without a man, and that's kind of like the old idea of what we had about being a woman. And it's also the one I called having the princess syndrome. You know, the one where you're just waiting for somebody else to save you? Yeah, I've been there.
That used to be me.
That used to be me. So this is kind of like the stage 1. So you realize you're in that place, and that you expect to be saved. And so usually what happens from there, you're going to stage 2. Stage 2 is the strong feminine. I don't need a man. I am a woman on my own. I've got this. I can do it all. I'm a superwoman. Well, this feminine shit, I don't need it. Hey, I'm going to not shave my armpits and... I mean, you got it, right?
A visual with the hairy armpits.
Yeah, totally. And there is a tendency when you are in that is to realize that there is a tendency to not appreciate the feminine much, and to bring the masculine down as well, because you're just like, it's kind of what a feminist looks like for me, you know, like
a lot of feminists, unfortunately, do kind of look like that, right?
Yeah.
Where they're rejecting the masculine, but they also seem to be rejecting the feminine too.
Exactly. And I even went through that phase. So it was just like that learning through that realizing I'm stuck there. So I need again to appreciate the masculine and bring in the femininity and the feminine energy into my life. So then that steps into that third stage, which is the one I call the awakened feminine. The awakened feminine is amazing because the awakened feminine strives for fairness, mutuality. She knows how to bring out the best in men, and she does not need a man, but she wants a man around.
She doesn't need one, but she wants one.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is a huge distinction. And there is a whole concept of power versus force. And so when you are in the stage number 2, when you are in your strong feminine, this is like forcing, pushing. That's really how it feels. When you are in the awakened feminine, you are truly coming from your power. Yeah.
Nice.
So depending on where you are right now, if you're more into the second stage, it might be harder to hear all of these about the masculine and feminine. You might judge the feminine. And so I think having the archetypes will really help you to start accepting all of yourself. Because us as women, we play many roles. We're really good at that. But we need to shift that. It doesn't have to be this or that it becomes this and that. So it's win, win, win. And that's why there's 5 feminine archetypes, because we have all these different versions of ourselves. Yeah.
Yay.
So that's kind of the piece I want to dive in right now that you've been waiting for.
Yay,
I know
I've been
we
waiting myself. Like, let's get the archetypes. I'm so excited.
I know we are covering it. So the archetypes, really, some of you were asking me, well, how do I know which one I am? You already are all of them. You might be rejecting some of them. You might be not comfortable with some of them, but they are already within you, all of them. So just know that. So I'm going to start by going with one of the archetypes here. We're going to start with our queen. And the queen archetype is the one that I see as the strong leader archetype. And so that's the one my client was really resonating with. That's the closest to what we call our masculine. That's also how I see it. What I love about the queen is that she makes things happen. You know, it's like, yeah, I get shit done. I make things happen. And you know that you really are into your queen archetype when you follow your inspiration and you use your mind to have positive mindsets. And like, you know, because we always have a chatter going on in our head. The queen archetype is all about the mental realm. So you can choose, you know, are you going to be talking in a way that's not going to be supportive of you? Or are you using a self-talk that is supporting you? So positive mindset. So this is kind of like how I see that archetype. And another thing about the queen is focus and intention. So notice in your life, you know, when you can call in the queen. Do you need to get things done? It's okay. Get into that hat. Keep your focus and intention and pleasure. Really, really important. If you have already looked at the 5 archetypes, you've noticed that all of the archetypes are associated with an element and a specific realm, because I love nature. It's really important to me. So I love to integrate all of these different energies because it helps us to bring wholeness into our lives. The second archetype that I want to introduce, and I'm sure that's the one Rose wants to comment on too, is the one I said, the great creator. Because you were talking about motherhood earlier. And that's the one that we see also as the mother, as the nurturer. And what's really fun is that this is all about the connection that you have with your womb. This is
your
how...
womb.
Yes.
Your womb.
I love it. She can like, please.
I'm a translator.
You're my translator. We should type it too. Oh my God. So this is how you connect, how you create with the connection to your womb. It's also, I want to redefine what it means to be a mother and a nurturer, because most of us associate that with having physical babies, which I think is a wonderful path if you choose to have children, but it's not the only path. And actually our uterus, our wombs are all like designed to create. You can use that force to birth things that are not babies. When I created my very first online course, it took me 9 months. It was a 9 months gestation project and process before I birthed it, and it was released and it was online. And so I really used that connection with my body to birth that baby. And so I want to really redefine what it means to be a great creator, that it's not just your whole, like your femininity is not depending on your decision to have children or not.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not everybody's path, but it doesn't mean that you're not a creator, that you can't tap into that creativity, into that womb space, and redirect that energy in other ways. I love that.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And this is really important because, I mean, honestly, the world is so populated. We don't really need right now. It's not for survival anymore that we need to bring children into the world. So if you are bringing children into the world, only do it if you are a full yes. And if you're not a full yes to it, I give you permission. This is okay to say no and create more beauty and joy in the world instead.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So, you know, you're in touch with your great creator when you put structure also into your life and create boundaries. Boundaries, saying no to others so you can say yes to yourself.
Beautiful.
The other thing about the great creator is being able to feel complete and whole. And being okay, being in that space of having space and emptiness. When we're talking about structure, there might be a structure, but between the structure, there is space and emptiness. And a lot of us, we tend to always want to fill ourselves up with things, with distractions or food or anything, but it is okay. Actually, our biggest potential for creation is when we sit in this emptiness. And that's very important. I notice myself all the time when I get a little stressed or something, and I go like, okay, what can I do? And this is, again, being way more masculine. When you can sit in that emptiness and just be with like who you are like this as a woman, that's when you are in touch with your feminine.
Yeah. Beautiful.
The next archetype that I want to bring to you is the bliss bunny.
I just love this one. I mean, how can you not smile for saying bliss bunny? You can't. Try it. You have to smile. Yeah.
I love the bliss bunny. I feel it's one of my superpower. You know, the bliss bunny is kind of like super joyful, and there's an innocence to the bliss bunny, and there's sometimes a lot of charm and childlike qualities. And I noticed that it's an archetype that many have let go of. How many of you take the time to play and laugh for no reasons, but just play? If you don't have children, most likely you don't. When we have children, that gives us an excuse, but without them, we forget that part of ourselves.
So true.
Yeah. And that's very interesting, is that I see that the bliss bunny is the key to the connection with your intuition. So when you can be like, because this is also where your fire element comes in here in the bliss bunny. So that creative fire, the passion, that energy that courses through your body is also what gets you in touch with the inspiration. So when we like trying to like, I don't know, contain a fire or make the fire smaller, it won't work. So allowing that fire to fully just burn.
We have Rachel said, I would love to be more connected to my inner bliss bunny.
Yes.
And watching Celine, like you can see what it looks like, right? She's modeling it for us. Like, this is what it looks like to be in your bliss bunny, to be like, she's like elated all the time. She's like, yeah, and giggling and like just enjoying everything around her. It's just so inspiring.
Therefore, I give you permission because you see it in me.
You're giving us all permission.
Yeah, totally. I see that a lot. So I stopped judging it, you know, especially when I started like on the entrepreneurial path, you know, I was told you have to stop laughing if you want to be taken seriously, and you know, like, yeah, you know, you have to dress differently, like do things, behave differently because you're like too childlike. And I was like, no, this is my superpower. I need to show up in the world. We've been telling people too much to like stuff things down, and that's why the world kind of sucks, and it's the way it is.
That's why the world kind of sucks.
I mean, it's true. If we were all more in touch with our bliss bunny, it would be a much different experience.
Stephanie says, yes, her superpower is Bliss Bunny. And then
Hop, hop.
it's contagious.
It is.
Yeah.
And so the hop hop is all about taking action. So that's also the bliss bunny, is like when you take action also in your life.
Mm-hmm. Yes, superpower, Bliss Bunny. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for staying true to yourself, for all of us to be inspired by you. Yes.
All right, we have 2 more archetypes that I wanted to cover. The next one is the wise woman. And the wise woman is the water element, and it's all about emotions. And that's why I love the water, the flow, you know. The wise woman is actually very grounded and centered, and she is in touch with the ebb and flow of life. You know that emotions come through you. We only label emotion as good or bad, but they're just emotions and energy in motion, emotion. So allowing these to just move through you is super essential. Tapping into your inner wisdom and inspiring others to connect to their emotions and their feelings, learning ways to like share those, you know, taking responsibilities for your feelings, really important. So you are in your wise woman when you're able to really just speak what goes through you and your emotions. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be confused. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be joyful, elated. It's okay to be turned down. Just celebrating all of these facets of you. And the other part with the wise woman is about using love kind of as your compass or guidance, because in any given situation, we can always choose fear or love. And notice, you know, when you are confronted with a situation, are you coming from a place of love when you're trying to get something done? Or are you coming from a place of fear, whether it's communicating with somebody or getting something done? You know, see it into business where you're like, I have to send all this, I don't know, Facebook campaign so I can make money. And I'm in fear I don't have enough money. This is like, you're really stuck into that fear and you're not into your wise woman. But if you're like, I want to serve more people and create this amazing Facebook campaign, you are in touch, you are driven by that force, by that love that goes through you. So again, there's like little distinctions of how you do it from the feminine or masculine perspective. Are you being guided by love? So when you are in tune with your wise woman.
It feels like what came to mind when you were saying that is just like our higher self, like really coming from that place where we know we have all the answers within us. We have that inner wisdom. We know exactly what's right for us. We know how to proceed in life. We have all of it inside of us, and tapping into and trusting and knowing that we can access that part of ourselves.
This is part of the journey we have to do as women to come back home into ourselves. And I was really guilty of always like expecting it to come from the outside. And once I realized that I had it all within, it really shifted how I loved myself and how I showed up. And it's so good. Imagine when you're like asking for a question, wanting an answer, and rather than Googling for 1,000 different things to find somebody to give you an answer, because we all have different opinions anyway, you just sit down, stay in that empty space of the great creator, and then allow that wisdom to arise from that place.
So beautiful. Yeah.
Let's all take a deep breath.
And then Corey says, such a great reminder, always come from a place of love. Easy to do when you're in a good mood. At other times, not so much.
Yeah. It is.
Even just when you said it, the reminder for me was like, oh yeah, I felt like even just being reminded of it helps to orient towards it, you know?
It is a choice.
It is a choice.
It is a choice at any given time, like just like happiness is a choice. And it's okay that sometimes you don't have the strength within you to choose love or to choose happiness. Allow that emotion. Just don't project it on others or put it on others. You can be like, I am really angry and I need a timeout to like just let it all out. And that's okay. It's not about perfection and always having to be a certain way. That's what
I love about all of these, is that we're all of these. It's not about, I know most of us have gotten stuck in one of these and it's become our identity.
Yeah.
And it's about integrating all of them and allowing ourselves to go between all of them without judgment. So that's what I love.
Yeah. Okay, I'll get with the last archetype.
You're waiting for that to be my favorite. So I've been waiting. I've been like,
I know. The sex goddess. The sex goddess, I put it as the spiritual realm, which for many could sound like surprising, but in reality it's not. Spirituality and sexuality are one and the same.
I agree.
Yeah.
With that.
I mean, yeah.
Now I do. If you would have said that to me a few years ago, I would have said, wait, what? Those actually a few years ago, I would have thought that they were opposed, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us more.
All right. So our sex goddess, she's the priestess, the lover, the seductress. She's dedicated to life's pleasures, to the erotic. And oh God, I really like it. She follows her desires, gets into her pleasure, turned on. And she's really in touch with her own authentic, full expression. And whatever way that looks like. Because so many of us, we repress sides of ourselves and we're like, this is not appropriate. And especially when it comes like, how many times like I go, I'll touch my breast or I'll feel my body or I'll move a certain way because it just feels so yummy. And it's like, yes!
Oh, it looks so yummy. It looks so yummy when someone does it.
But this is like really, really important. This is again a choice. This is your essence and you need to let it come through you.
I'm blushing. It's getting hot in here again. I have to say, sorry, was there anything?
No, go ahead. It's perfect.
When I became a spiritual teacher, I somehow adopted and thought that I had to cut myself off from my sex goddess, that those two archetypes couldn't play in the same space. And I also, because I experienced sexual trauma as a child, I also suppressed it because of that reason. It was dirty, shameful, bad, and it was totally locked up. And so I've been going through a spiritual awakening through sexuality for the last couple of years, it's been about 3 years now. And it's been blowing my mind. The spiritual path is so deep and so beautiful and it has healed me so deeply. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're with another person, by the way. I mean, what she's talking about here, this is about what you're embodying within yourself and the inner work within yourself. So I'm just so glad that you're bringing awareness to this, because I know a lot of women watching can probably identify with that. And also becoming a mother. I don't know how many of you guys can identify with this too, but when I became a mother, then it was like, oh, definitely can't be sexy. I don't know where I got that from, but I just, okay, now I have to start wearing frumpy clothes. I started wearing super frumpy clothes and frumpy PJs and cutting myself off from my desire and my sensuality because I was a mom. And those two archetypes didn't live together. So we're busting through all of that right now.
It's really important to still be able to turn that one on. And I know that in the world we live in, it's really funny because a lot of, sex sells, and everywhere you look, you have all these very suggestive like pictures or like, women to sell car. You put a semi-nude women on the car and that's how it's going to sell the car. But yet, even though we have all of these messages, it still feels really difficult for many women to access that part. So it's really important to allow it to show up. But there's, different times maybe. And especially like Rose was saying, when you get into the mother archetype, like you must still turn that one on when you are with your partner or with yourself, because sexual energy is the force of creation. We all came from sexual energy, from that place. So this is our life force. And if you disconnect yourself from that life force, your life will be dull.
Yeah, it's true. And there was actually a time in my life, I can't believe this now, but where I actually thought, because my sex drive had turned off after I had a child, and I just decided, you know what, if I never have sex again, I'm going to be totally okay with that. That's not my path. And I just didn't care about it. I didn't think about it. But when that turned off and when I shut that down, I didn't realize I was doing it consciously, but it also shut down my life force energy. And it was like I was this little baby fern that hadn't been watered. And what I didn't realize at the time is that, by the way, men can pick up on this. They can feel when a woman has shut this part, and women that are attuned to it. But when I finally actually turned this part of myself on, I had two different men that I hardly know. One of them, I got on the phone, he goes, "Oh my gosh, you are having a sexual awakening. Oh my gosh, you are being," what the term he said, I'm sorry if you take this personally, but he said, "You are being fucked open to God." And it doesn't mean literally fucking, it meant like opening sexually to God. And I went, "How?" We just got on the phone. I mean, I hardly know this man. I was cracking up, but he could just hear it in my voice. My voice had changed and come alive. And then I got onto Skype with another guy, and same thing. He's like, "Oh my God, look at you." I went,
"You're glowing."
Yeah. I said, "Was it really that bad?" He goes, "Oh yeah, everybody knew you were shut down sexually." All of my guy friends, all of my friends, they would talk about, "Oh, is Rose still shut down sexually?" Yeah, because we have some very, evolved men in our communities that we run in. But I couldn't believe that other people could perceive this about me. I didn't realize it, but when you're shut down sexually, other people can feel it as it's like a stopping block, like a big bridge where your life force energy is being held back by like a barricade, like this. That's how other people see it. Like you're holding it all in, and then they can't reach you and feel you either, I feel like. And it's just, you lose so much. I guess I can speak from my personal experience. I had lost so much of my sexiness and pleasure for life in general. And so it's been huge to reclaim that. It feels like I've come alive again.
Yeah. And what Rose mentioned with, if you're not in a relationship, remember, you've got your masculine and feminine within you. How can you make love to yourself with both energies? Like really, really important. Like the next time you touch yourself, pleasure yourself, feel like, hey, invite your inner masculine to step into the room with you. So both your feminine and masculine. So it makes this really complete connection and just bringing that sacredness into the room.
And then from that place, you can be whole within yourself. So that's the process that I have been going through for many years, is becoming complete within myself so that I can truly enter into a interdependent relationship. Because when we're coming from that place where we still have the wounding around our sexuality and our life force energy, then we're going to attract somebody who's the other side of that, and you create a codependent relationship. So that's why it's so important to heal this within ourselves. Our sexuality and our sensuality and our pleasure isn't something that we can go without and just put on a shelf for the rest of our life. You're literally, it's like dying a slow death where the color starts to run out of the world. Life is too short. Too short. Why? Why do that?
Totally.
Tara wrote, "Yes!" exclamation point. Thank you.
So if you're wondering, well, how do I integrate all of these archetypes? So if you haven't downloaded the handout, you will later, so you can go back to it as a reference point. I've also added on the handouts different essential oils and scent that can stimulate that archetype. So play with that and see. But the other thing is, notice, I'm going to take a sexy, juicy example. So you've been going through your day. Let's say you have children and then they're in bed and you go into the bedroom and you walk towards your partner. Let's say if you walk towards your partner from that place of being into the nurturer and the mother energy, do you really think that it's going to inspire his desires for you, and that you will feel turned on by him and that you will see him as a lover? Like, probably not. But if you notice, take a break and notice and be like, oh, how would I walk if I were really in my sex goddess right now?
You'd walk like Celine walks all the time. And you can imagine how she would walk. You see her body language, right? When she walks, like she sits here and talks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like notice
like
that. Notice that like at different times, and like how can you be like into your bliss bunny right now if you're noticing that the day's going and feeling a little stuffy and stuff, and you're not having pleasure, and like get into that bliss bunny energy and like sprinkle it throughout, when you're interacting with somebody, how would you interact, if you like you are in your strength and your power from that queen archetype, and I think it's good to mix in a little sex goddess and seduce a little bit, because you want to flirt with life and everyone.
Oh, we do, huh?
I do now. I know.
Why not, right? Why not have some fun here? That's what I say.
Totally. So these kind of were all the archetypes. I'm seeing that there might be some comments coming in. If you have questions around the archetypes, now would be a good time to just see that.
Yeah, just a couple of quick questions again, because we're going to, just looking at time, we're going to put questions at the end too. But here we have, yes, about the sex goddess being in the spiritual realm. Thank you for that, dear. And then Stephanie says, this is also fascinating. I thought I was being feminine when I was wearing certain clothes and looking a certain way to have my husband desire me, but I don't always sense that it was working. But when I am feeling feminine, give myself pleasure, it will probably draw him in more.
Yes, the way you're describing this, you were wearing these things for him and for the outcome it would have on him.
God.
So you were being masculine. You were meeting your husband with your masculine energy.
Oh my gosh, think about that. If we're wearing the clothes and the makeup, this just totally...
She said yes, exactly.
I have a light bulb here. We're doing it for the masculine.
Yes.
But if I put on something because it makes me feel yummy and it feels soft or it's cozy, it doesn't matter about what I think they're going to think. It's about what I feel. Then you're right.
And that's what's
going to draw him in. That's yes. And this is why every time you see Celine, she's out and she's experiencing the wind on her skin and the sensations and she's just walking around in this place of receiving and that's one of the things that makes you so irresistible and charismatic. Now it's clicking for me. That's so good. Exactly. Yes, Rose. Yes. Woo. And then Shara says, love you ladies. So fun.
Yeah.
Yay. So wrap it all up for us. We had just went through all the archetypes.
I want to challenge you with that. The ones that you can't, notice which one do you feel more comfortable embodying and embody it fully, but embody the one that scare you. Embody the ones that challenge you, because this is how your growth edge is going to happen. It's only when you step out of your comfort zone. Even if you feel silly, just give it a try. I know for many, the bliss bunny is scary because you're like, I don't want to make a fool of myself. I don't want to be embarrassed. Go for it. You'll notice how everything around you will just totally appreciate that. If that's the sex goddess, like, find your own version. And the reason why, the guidelines I have given you are just guidelines. It's so important that you find your very own definition. Don't let anyone define what it means to be a woman for you.
That is so beautiful. I love it. I love it. Where we get to create ourselves. We get to create ourselves from the ground up. Yeah. So good. And I love that about picking the ones that scare us. That's our edge, because it's like what I'm learning about these archetypes is it's really about being well-rounded with all of them, being multidimensional. That's what seems to be, and you can tell me more because you're the expert, but seems to make you more alluring to the opposite sex and to everyone, to life. And more charismatic in general when you can play within a range.
Yes.
Because I've known women in my life that were like hard asses in business and super tough. And that was the only side of them I saw. And I think that they got locked into that. Like, I can't change or I can't be anything else. But had I seen them break into this, like Bliss Bunny, I think they would have gone to a whole new level in my eyes. I would have been like, whoa, and there's that.
There's a whole
too.
ranch there.
Yeah.
You're like,
I just saw light come in. I'm gonna go change this light really quickly because we have like bars going off Professor Face all of a sudden.
Yeah, so I'd love to see in the comment, like write it down, let us know, and maybe you can do the other one too. It's better there, Rose. You got it.
Is it better?
Yeah, okay. Perfect. Let us know which archetype you're taking on as your challenge to embody more. I want to hear. I want to see which one is like the one that you're like, I'm a little bit scared, but I'm going to do it. So because we want you to be accountable, we're going to read it out loud, and then we expect you to just really step into it.
Oh, good. So one of the comments says, "Ooh, I'm imagining a scent with one of the essential oils with each archetype. Yum." My awareness clung to Rose's example of losing sexiness and lust for life, the very reason to reignite or retain heightened sexuality and sensuality with all. Yeah, so important. And Jennifer, I want to take on the sex goddess.
Yeah.
That's the one I've been playing around. And I can just give you as an example. In our city, we have this place. It's called the Dollhouse, and they have pole dancing lessons and all kinds of like burlesque classes. And they have women from all shapes and all sizes. And actually one of our friends teaches there. And it was so much fun because you had women that were overweight, tall, skinny, young, old, every kind of color background, beginners, advanced. And we're all together and supportive and empowering each other to dance and get our sexiness on. And it was so empowering. And so I highly recommend looking into something like that if it speaks to you. Kylie, so funny. The Bliss Bunny is easy for me. My challenge I'm taking on is the Queen. Ooh. She scares me because I can easily tap way too into my masculine with the strength and boldness and the independence. I'm choosing to embody my queen and feel sexy and juicy and luscious, being a clear queen.
Yeah.
Woo! Love that, Kylie. That is so beautiful. Yeah, I can feel that. I got chills when you said that. So beautiful. Well, we could talk about this all day. I'm looking at the time.
Oh, we have one more. She's so comfortable as the queen. Rachel, creator and wise woman. Her challenge is to step into her inner bliss bunny and sex goddess.
Love it. You know that I have fun. I'm really good at the bliss bunny too. It's like it's like bringing bubbles to the park, or dressing up with costumes, or you know, there's just yeah. You act like a kid. You just reclaim that innocence and that play and fun again. Yeah. Well. Is there anything else, or can I talk about?
You can talk about it.
Okay. And we are going to answer some more questions at the end, and we do have our drawing, so we have not forgotten about that. But if you would like to go deeper into this work, if this feels like there's something here for you, or if you feel like you have lost any of these aspects of yourself, or you feel like stepping into your true feminine power is your next edge, then Celine has a beautiful, beautiful program called The Irresistible Woman. And as you can see, she embodies her work and she knows her stuff. It makes me want to cry. She's like a pillar of our community here, and she's been doing this work she works with women and men, but right now she's created this program for women, all about helping us to reclaim all of these aspects of ourselves and become well-rounded and heal from our sexual trauma and shed all these layers of conditioning and belief that we've been carrying around with us for centuries. So she has an 8-week program, and it's coming up in just a few weeks. And so is there anything else you wanted to say about that, or tell us a little bit about that for those that are wanting to go deeper?
Yeah, so I kind of just wanted to share with you a little bit of the nuggets about the Irresistible Woman from the place where we start. We're going to dive in so much deeper into that, understanding that dance of the masculine and feminine, and really reconnecting to that feminine essence, you know. So all the practices that we'll do will help you tap in one or the other archetypes, so that, you know, don't worry if you're like, I have no clue how to do it. I will lead you. So you'll be forced to step into these archetypes. Don't worry, you'll get a lot of tips around that. But mostly also what this will do for you is just to experience so much more passion, polarity. And my favorite part about learning that dance of the masculine and feminine is bringing the best in men and inspiring men to just like show up for you, give you their deepest love and appreciation, because that's really what they love to do. And when you know how to communicate with a man properly and the man in your life, and you don't have to be in a relationship, it works with your boss, with your son, with your father. Like some of my women that have taken this course, so big shifts in their relationship with their fathers, just because they knew then how to start to interact with that masculine energy. So that's kind of really the foundation there, and it's so important.
I want to say one thing.
Sure.
By the way, your relationship and view of the masculine is also your relationship and view of money. Yeah. So, taking this on and healing these aspects of yourself works on all levels and areas of your life, all of your relationships, not just with your husband or a romantic partner. It really transcends every area. It's really the foundational work of who we are and how we walk in the world, how we show up to be able to embody our full self.
Yeah. And that kind of leads to the next step, which is getting in touch with yourself, creating this amazing connection where we get to feel so much more comfortable with our body and in our sensuality. And that helps us, because when you have that deeper relationship with yourself, you can walk in the world, be so confident and radiant and alive, and everybody and everything gets attracted, and you don't have to do anything. It's not about like tactics or having to like pose a certain way. It's really just about being more of who you are. And so it's effortless, easy, and fun. So yeah, that's kind of the next phase that I take you on when we go into the Irresistible Woman program. And then the last one is, I kind of really love that one, because we explore the art of giving, receiving, and enhancing pleasure. So imagine what that does to your relationship, the depth that gets created, and how we really shifting like how you look at your sexuality.
Huge.
It's a really big piece. Yeah.
Yeah. So many of us have layers and layers and beliefs and shame, and I did all kinds of stuff around sexuality. For me, it was like the final frontier. It was like I knew that I needed to address that area, but I never felt safe. And so I just really appreciate you creating such a beautiful, safe container where, as you can see with this woman, every woman feels safe and comfortable with her, because she just makes you feel safe. There's nothing that you can tell this woman that she would bat an eye at. You could tell her anything. She's heard everything, and she just is so accepting and compassionate that I think you make everyone feel really safe.
That is true. That is really something that sees. And because I come from that place where I don't hold shame about my body and my sexuality, it creates a portal for those that are around me where they start to like experience that as well in their life. And that's some of the massive breakthroughs that they go through when they are on the Irresistible Women program.
Yeah, this woman has no shame around sexuality or her body or image or stuff. She doesn't have any of that stuff. It's amazing. Like can I just share this?
Go for it.
Okay. There's a nude beach in San Diego where we live. I've never been there. I don't even know where it is, and I grew up here. And she goes there every Sunday. It's with her partner. It's almost like their church, and they invite friends, and she can just go and invite friends and be naked. And I was like, oh my God, this is so edgy for me. Like, I will go. I promised her I will go at one point, but just to go and to have the courage and be able to just stand in who you are, not have shame and hang-ups around your body, and be naked around your friends at the beach and playing like children sounds beautiful and fun. And it's a total edge for me. And this woman just does it with so much grace and ease, and she shows other women how to do the same.
And I see my friend Tara here is like, I can attest to Celine being very safe to talk about anything. And yes, join us to the beach. It's amazing. She's there too.
It looks like we're going to be seeing each other naked sometime soon.
Exactly.
And somebody else says your archetypes are fun,
create a fun self-awareness. Ha ha ha. Kylie, it's true. Blacks is my favorite. Oh my gosh. Well, good for you guys. I'm still, that's my
It's your edge, but we'll take you there.
And hold my hand and make it okay.
You know, another thing I really wanted to share about something that's very special about the Irresistible Women is that it really gives you the confidence to and the creativity around being able to be sexual and sensual, because there's not many things out there. You know, when you want to learn, like, let's say, how to touch yourself or touch a partner a certain way, your only options are porn, which I'm pretty sure most of you go like, no thanks, I don't really like seeing that. Or you can look at like sacred sexuality teachings, and you have to sit through an entire hour and a half of course where they lit the candles and they go through prayer and all of this, which is amazing. But we want efficiency sometimes. We just want to do the goddamn stroke. Give it to me right now, you know. And so that's the thing I like. I give you the shortcut to the best strokes. I can't believe I said that.
I'm intrigued. You piqued my interest. I'm like, oh, okay.
So really, like, if that piqued your interest, just like Rose, what I wanted to invite you to is join me on the phone. You know, I'm going to have a few spots available for a pleasure activation session with me. But if you feel that you're ready, that you want to take that next step, that you want to feel confident and radiant and really walk into this world from all these different archetypes, jumping from one to another and have so much more pleasure in your life, then I want you to get on call with me. And there's going to be a link here that we're going to be giving you so that you can have access and see what that is. But I want to make sure that when you claim your spot with me for your pleasure activation session, take the time to answer the 3 short questions that I have on there, because they're really going to help me to prepare for our call together so that you get to have the most transformation possible and get the best outcome from that call together. So we'll know what the next step, the best next step for you looks like in reaching your goals and awakening that feminine essence and radiance within.
Yeah, so her Irresistible Woman program is starting in just a few weeks. I'm going to give the URL so you can go and check it out. And she's inviting you to get on the phone with her to do one of these pleasure activation sessions. But as we were talking about beforehand, really get clear and ask yourself, are you ready to step into your full feminine power? So if you're a yes, then we invite you to go to her website to check out her program. And then on that page, you'll see where to answer the 3 questions and sign up for one of these calls with her. So it's CelineRemy.com, CelineRemy.com/course. So CelineRemy.com/course. I'm going to spell it one more time. CelineRemy.com/COURSE. And on that site, you'll see where to sign up for one of these pleasure activation sessions.
Yeah, any of the red buttons will lead you there. So follow the red.
So somebody wrote here, Celine, you are adorable. Rose often is, but you up her adorability.
I'm learning a lot from her. Believe me, I saw her and I was like, damn, so that's how it's done. I was like, okay, I am learning a lot from all ears. And then you're both so beautiful. I aspire to have what you both have. Your smiles and joyful being are catching. Thank you, dear. Thank you so much. Well, we're going to take some more questions here in a moment, but do we take questions? Yes? Or?
Yeah, I think we should, shall we tell them about the lucky woman who's going to get?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do the drawing. Okay, so should we tell them what it is?
Yes!
Okay.
You say
So we're going to do a drawing for a personal one-on-one phone session with Celine. And she works very quickly and very deeply. And as you can see, she's very compassionate. and she would love to get on the phone with you and work with you one-on-one. And this is a $300 session that she's giving away. So if you would like to be put into the drawing for this, please raise your hand. So there's a button on there to raise your hand. And this is just a thank you for showing up live, because we really appreciate, we know there's a lot of places you could have been today. And so we just want to honor all of you. Okay.
And I call this one the pussy activation. Please be aware of that. Please know what you're in for.
Yeah. I'm blushing again. Pussy activation session. Okay.
See, now we got more hands raised.
raised,
They were up on that pussy activation.
Okay, so I'm going to check with Celine really quickly. We're going to see how to do the drawing. So I think Okay.
Rose has a whole thing.
So I have a system here we're going to use.
Now squeeze your pussy if you want that one and make it happen.
B, C, E. Okay, hold on.
Pussy activation, yes. Kylie.
Nikki, I knew you'd have your hand up. Okay.
All right.
Okay, so so I want you to close your eyes.
All right.
Okay, put out your finger. And
Where?
point someplace here.
Where? Oh,
Close, you're close. No, down, south. Okay.
there?
Yep, okay. So Annette.
All right.
Annette, you are the winner of this pussy activation session. So Annette. Okay.
Congratulations,
Yay.
Annette.
So Annette, I don't think I have your email. I want to make sure I have your current email. And so do me a favor, and actually, do you want to give your email? Because that way, if anybody wants to reach you too, they'll have your email.
Yeah. So it's simple. You can simply email me at info@CelineRemy.com.
So info@CelineRemy.com. So Annette, email Celine and remind her that you were the one that won the session. And then also, if anybody has any questions about the Irresistible Woman program that's starting in a few weeks, then feel free to contact Celine.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Beautiful. Well, who has questions? And then Kylie wrote, congratulations to you and your pussy, Annette. So beautiful, pussy exit. So who has a question? Everything is open. So as you can see, there are no questions that are out of bounds here. It can be a question about the Irresistible Woman program or anything that Celine has covered here. If there's anything that comes up, and I would say, like, if there's something that you kind of feel like embarrassed, just feels like a little edgy to ask, that's the question we want. Come on, bring it. So Stephanie, what did you mean? She said, what did you mean to let the men show off for you and do things for you? So can you explain that a little bit more? Because you were talking about being in the being irresistible or being in the feminine, or
yeah. I'm trying to see how I can quickly answer that question, because in reality, the first 2 modules of the Irresistible Women cover a lot of that. So what I'm thinking is, when you are in your pleasure, when you are connected to who you truly are, men just want to show up for you. And you inspire them, because there's ways of just like, when you are in your pleasure and you're like, oh, I'm so thirsty, I would love a glass of water. Who do you think? Like, they're like, sure, let me get you one, you know? And so, like, it's just like how it works. Just like when you stay in your pleasure, in your body, and in simply like making requests, that's how it can inspire men to be like, let me be your hero. Men want to be our heroes. So you give them the opportunity to be your hero.
It's so true. I've seen women get totally activated by this work. And what's so amazing is then they can go out and, let's say, go to like a farmer's market, and all of a sudden the guy behind the fruit stand is going, oh, just take that. Here, take an apple. Here, take an extra apple. And it's not that you're soliciting that or doing anything to try and get something, because that would be the masculine, right? It's just you're in this place of radiance. So the divine masculine wants to reciprocate because they're receiving so much radiance and inspiration from just being in your presence. They're basking in your glow. So I experience this a lot too, where, you know, men are like, oh my gosh, let me
open the door for you.
Yes, because they're actually, what you're giving to the world when you give your radiance is so fucking profound and so fucking healing, that they're wanting to give back, even in some small way, to show their appreciation for the radiance that you are putting out into the world.
Totally. That's huge.
This is sacred. This is not about manipulation.
No.
There's nothing I feel more important for the state of the planet right now than for each of us women to be fully juiced up and giving our radiance to the world. This is how we're going to heal the world, is through our radiance. So this is important work that is not just for us. This is what inspires everyone to go out and want to do their share and awaken. This is what awakens everyone's consciousness that's around us. It's like that, it's a ripple effect of spreading beauty and radiance.
Yeah.
Thank you for that question.
I saw a couple questions about if I teach jade egg practices. Yes, I do. I usually teach them locally, and I have not yet scheduled one locally, but that could be possible. And in the future, I'd like to have another online course that teaches the jade egg practices, among other practices as well. But yes, I have been teaching it for over 15 years, so lots of experience and happy to share. So connect with me. And if I get enough women on this call that are like, Celine, we want something, I will put up something, even if it's virtual, for us all to have a workshop, and I can create something.
That's great. So yeah, by the way, jade egg, if you don't know what we're talking about, because I didn't know about this until 2 years ago, it's like a stone round egg that you actually insert vaginally, and you use different exercises to strengthen your pelvic floor and the vaginal walls, and it helps with all kinds of health benefits, and sexuality is a really beautiful practice.
I think the biggest gift here is actually, even beyond that, is repatterning the DNA and all the issues that are stuck in your body. It moves them out of your body.
Oh my gosh, it's huge. I just felt that through my whole body. I mean, the work that we're talking about here and that Celine does, this is really about healing some deep, 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 deep karmic wounds with the femininity. So keep in contact with Celine. You have her email. Again, it's info@CelineRemy.com. So if you have any questions, you know, be sure to,
she's very generous. Okay, she said, there's another person here says, I'm wondering if Celine has heard of
the one taste meditation and what she thinks about it. Yes, I have heard of one taste. One taste is the practice. It's orgasmic meditation, oming, where somebody strokes the woman's clit for 15 minutes, and there's no goal but just experiencing pleasure. I think it's a wonderful practice for couples to get together and learn that there's no goal but just the pleasure. It's a wonderful practice for women to learn again to just drop into her body and learn to receive, because most women are very guilty of not being able to fully receive.
Oh, so true.
And like any practice, I think it has a lot of benefits, and there's way more to go. It's a great first step.
This is the way more to go.
Kylie, Celine, will you give us a few examples of your pleasure and juiciness while embodying a queen? This one to me seems the most masculine of the archetypes. And God, I know a feminine flow of strength and leadership is a very powerful way. So yeah, so examples of the masculine for embodying the queen.
I think you are in your queen when you strive for connection, when you are with somebody. And when you are staying strong to who you are, to what your needs are. So self-care is always your priority, setting the boundaries, but yet striving for connection and empathy. So it's okay to be like, I am available between the hours of 10 and 7. To me, this is a queen. I mean, I'm like, this is when I'm available, but I'm setting a container that takes care of myself, and I'm giving you an opportunity to connect with myself. So that's one way. Or I would love to work with you right now. And so you're taking the lead with something. Let me tell you how we're going to be doing this. You know, so you're setting again that container, you're taking you're taking the direction, but you're also creating that connection. So it's kind of like I'm trying to find examples pretty quickly. If I think of something else, I can post it on Facebook or something like that. But that's what's coming right now.
Beautiful. And Jennifer says, thank you. Any other questions? We have one here. Love it. Thank you.
Awesome. Good.
Yeah. So any other questions before we wrap up about anything we've discussed today? Or comments? If you want to send some love or comments our way or Celine's way, we're happy to receive them as well. We're open to receiving. I see some more comments coming in. Thank you. This was magic, Kylie. Love you so much. Thank you, beautiful sex goddesses.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us. We have another one here. I was not expecting to laugh so much. Thank you so much for all of the fun and magic. Thank you both for sending your healing laughter to the world. Thank you, ladies. Love this, both of you. Much gratitude. You are both so beautiful and inspiring. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Well, it is our pleasure. As you can see, we get immense pleasure out of this. We like our jobs. We're always talking like, oh my gosh, this is my job. This is awesome. So thank you so much. We're honored to have you join us here. If you do have more questions and comments, you're welcome to join me over on my Facebook page, which is rosecole.com/rituality community, or you can just type in Rose Cole, ROSECOLE.com, and post what your experience was of this and what came out of this, and if you had fun, if you had any realizations, if you put any of these things in practice, if you are taking the plunge and you're signing up for the Irresistible Woman in the next couple of weeks, we'd love to hear that too and celebrate with you. And again, one more time, the URL is celineremy.com/course. You'll want to go over there and at least just check out what it is that she's offering, because it's pretty special and unique what she has set up. So it's CELINERY.com/COURSE. Yeah. So we're sending you so much love, and may this inspire you to cultivate your own radiance, and together may we illuminate the world and create a new heaven on earth.
Yes. Thank you. Much love.